Yes, yes. Hi.
Hey,
Perfect. Great.
Macy.
Hello. Welcome aboard.
We can see you.
Ah, wow.
We're seeing you. Here is everybody.
Wow.
All right.
Hey,
Hey,
that's a big
everyone.
crowd. That's more people in person than online, or almost the
Uh,
same number of people.
Florida is beautiful here. I promise.
Oh,
Hmm.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yeah,
Bruno's the
I love,
closest to get to Florida, not myself.
yeah, I love the Jacksonville Javas group. I've been there so many times, right? So, very good to see you all there. So, thanks a lot. So, Macy, we are the idea was for us to answer a few questions about career while people join in, and so you can start with the full room. So maybe one thing that we can ask for everyone there, right? So let me. Um, Money is a Java champion specialist on artificial intelligence, right? Macy is our main speaker today, right? A top specialist on artificial intelligence. I'm the only non-artificial intelligence person here, right? But my focus is helping people on career. So if anyone has any questions to begin with, right? Any challenge that you're going on in your career, I think we have three amazing speakers here that can help you out. So maybe someone can start with a questions just to help us out here.
I'd like to just plug in a little bit there. So don't take on Bruno's modesty that he is not an artificial intelligence person. If you watch some of the podcasts that we have done in the last 1.5 years, he has been able to speak as much on AI than most of our speakers on those podcasts. So Bruno is as competent on AI. In fact, Bruno can talk about anything, anywhere, anytime. He's always ready. So I think he's just being modest by saying he doesn't know much about AI. He can sometimes wash off our feet if you don't watch him closely. So yeah, with that, I'd like to hand it over to you, Bruno and Macy, and then take it from here.
Yeah, just let's just see if there's any questions there in the room so we can get started, and then we're gonna hand to Macy so she can start her session.
Michael says hello. Hey, vegan Yoti. Hello,
Michael, hey,
hola.
hello. Yes, so we have some people here, right? So yeah, so Michael said hello. Uh, let's see,
There's
hola.
VJ. VJ saying hello as well.
Cool. All right. Okay, I don't see any questions, right? So maybe we should just go, Macy. We should just hand over to you then.
We have one question
Yeah.
here.
So
Oh,
about
you
how
do.
long?
Somebody will have to repeat that question to us.
Okay,
I mean,
the question is a bit more related to AI. So
Mhm.
someone in the audience is asking, how long do you think it's gonna take ChatGPT to take over this meeting? Is that correct?
basically,
Yeah,
Take over this meeting. Okay.
like arrange the whole thing. Like,
well, and just consider that from the dynamic that you guys are communicating. One, somebody introduced who all the speakers were, and actually, you
at
haven't had a
right.
complete introduction. Somebody, just two people, I guess, raised their hand and communicated in the chat section, and then one of you, as a moderator, felt compelled to communicate that to us. My perception is that these are the type of things, at least when I think about it, these are the type of things that I'd be looking at a solution like a chat GPT to facilitate and potentially even add context, right? Because chat GPT is going to also know who's in the room and maybe be able to identify some other people who might contribute or have been doing things that are relevant to the topic at hand. Just a thought, and then trying to get other people's feedback. That's where the question came from.
So we have VJ also raising the hand, but before we get to VJ, I'd like to plug in a little bit on that one. And I'm no expert in this field. I'm as new as in it as many of us, but some people are probably more seasoned than me with the ChatGPT story. So ChatGPT is already touching on some or many of the aspects of what you just said in different ways, because I know lots of people have introduced ChatGPT as Slack bots doing various different tasks. And ChatGPT is already beginning to understand, probably to a good extent or a very good extent, context. and you can really have conversations and it doesn't forget. But of course, it has limitations, early days. And all those things that we are now doing manually here, where, like, for example, Bruno had to nudge me, say, hey, why don't you talk to the audience and entertain them, because I'm actually just trying to get this working. Something like that, it wouldn't take chat gpt any nudging to get that started and going, and it would just know how what to do. It is beginning to understand context, just to let you know. So many of the things you mentioned, I think quite a few of those are already covered. uh, Not exactly in the full extent, but it's getting there. So how long? I think it's already in progress, and before you even finish, I think it might be able to do many of those things very comfortably. We have VJ raising hand. Do you have a question, VJ, or do you want to have a comment? You can either speak or okay, hand mic.
So
Oh, hi. Thank you. Can you hear me?
we
Yeah,
can
we
hear you,
can.
VJ. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for taking my call. I was just going to ask a question regarding the statement made by several scientists like Sam Altman and also Jeffrey Hinton, who resigned from Google, who's called the godfather of AI, about the warning about which these AI tools pose. And I wonder if this session is going to answer that question as to how can we recognize bias or misinformation or ethics concern, which are now being spawned by soon to be ubiquitous AI. So thank you.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question. I will actually mention that during my presentation, but for sure, I will talk a bit more now. I feel like that's a long way to go, even if we are trying to govern things like this. But there are a lot of private entities are working on AI, which they cannot be regulated. Uh, so it's a lot more like patches we have to do or things we have to catch up now. It's just it's like a regulation on gun, right? Like you can regulate lawful people, but if you want to regulate people who cannot be regulated, it's really tough. That's just
Mhm.
my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not something that's going to be solved by technology alone, right? It's not. I think that we might have some tools that will allow you to identify fakes, for example. Because that's always going to when someone generates something that's like a fake picture or fake video. Maybe you're going to have some other tools that can allow you to identify that's fake or not. But a lot of people don't care, right? You already get people doing this, right? So people will edit videos and just kind of present just a part of a view, or something that someone said, just kind of parts of that. And a lot of people don't even care. Right? They don't care about looking at the whole thing, looking at the whole context. So AI is going to do the same thing, and we're not going to be able to just regulate. I mean, it's not technology is not going to solve it. We're going to have to regulate in other ways. And as Macy said, there's a lot of things that just can't be regulated, right? Because people that don't play by the rules they're not going to play by the rules. And I think it's going to be
Yeah.
something that the whole society is going to have to learn how to deal with that. That's a problem, but that's why we're here discussing, because we're going to be involved on that.
Yes, we even for our current internet, there's an internet called the dark web, which cannot be easily searched through. You have to use special tools, a special browser to visit them. You need to know the exact URL. I think maybe in the future, AI and certain unregulated AI will be out there in the dark web as well. Like the big providers for the search or for the AI will try to filter unregulated content. Maybe it's just I'm just talking out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the future is amazing in both senses, the positive and the not so positive senses, and
Mhm.
various shades of gray in between them as well. And many of the things we watch in sci-fi movies, like regulated society where everything is automated and everything is regimented, that might become possibly a necessity in the future if we develop the way we are developing the tools just now. And we will also have to rely a lot on automation to shield ourselves from a lot of these things. And also the government bodies and all the organizations that care about keeping law and order, and keeping people under certain rules and regulations, they will also have to start getting more, let's say, advanced with their technologies, to use those technologies, to use automation to control these things, because ultimately these things can give power in the hands of the unequal or unfair or the incorrect people, right? And who would like to lose power, if you understand the kind of society we live in. Great question, Vegan. Thanks for asking the question. I'm going to put you back on to the audience if you don't mind, and if you still have another question, come back later on, and we'll be happy to answer them.
So one of the main reasons I joined here was to help out on hosting here, but Money knows everything, so that's perfect, Money. You're, Money was
I
like,
don't know the hosting part, and you could
right,
see that in the first couple of minutes, because I thought you had the control and you were doing it right. Yeah,
that's
but when it
great.
comes to talking, I could do a few bits and bobs. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that if you don't have any more questions, right? So maybe gonna pass the ball to Macy, right? So Macy, thanks a lot for being here in the name of EAL and all the Jacksonville Java User Group and the Google Developer Group and the AI for J group. Thanks a lot for you for being here. It's a great pleasure, and I think that this topic is such an important topic. We're all eager to hear. So up to you, Macy. Thanks a lot. Okay, we can see your screen.
Okay, so my screen, good.
You see your
Thanks for
screen,
the
and
important
and we can
feedback.
hear you, so that's all good. Thanks. So me and Manu are going to be hiding here in the backstage, but if you need anything, we can just jump right back.
Cool. So, hi everyone, welcome to the event physically and virtually. Thank you for being here. It's really good to have live audiences and, of course, have virtual audiences as well, so we can reach more people. And today we'll just talk about AI. I know the initial topic was supposed to be about ChatGPT. I feel ChatGPT is just a product that's really popular right now. But we have been working on this technology all along. It's not anything just new. It's just because the popularity of generative AI, we start paying more attention to this industry. So a little bit about me. My name is Macy Kuang. I'm actually a game developer, no AI expert, but I know computers and I know how to make video games. And I'm also the Google developer expert for IoT and wearable. I do a lot of public speakings on various topics. And I also have a YouTube channel, which is called Code to Create, where I share tips and tricks with technology topics. And my recent videos are related to like Midjourney, how to generate AI images, and some topics on ChatGPT. So if you're ever interested in hearing more from me and about AI or other technology topics, so feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will kind of briefly talk about the history and then the current stage of the AI. And last but not least, I will be talking about our future, more like a near future, like maybe next 6 months or next year, because this industry is changing so rapidly. I actually personally think that this slide is going to be outdated maybe next week. So yes, right? Too much has happened. So the first, let's briefly talk about the past. Like the past of AI, it seemed very like hackerish. It's a lot of open source project out there. So Kaggle is a very well known data set website where you can get free data sets. For example, the weather data of Florida or the earthquake data of California. and where people can get free data and train their models to do some hacker projects. Like I think facial recognition was one of the popular topics people were doing for, and handwriting recognitions. And of course, there are some commercial use for machine learning, deep learning, this kind of products, such as stock trading. There's a lot of robot trader that's got really popular during the crypto era, and there's a lot of bot trading cryptos. I'm pretty sure some like businesses made a pretty good profit from it. But however, because the access to data sets is very limited, only big corporations owns the data sets, and the free data as an average developers, we really do not have much access to it. And not to mention how expensive it is to run an actual server. And I did some search on how much it costs ChatGPT to run their free services. It is about $700,000 per day, and it's just on their free services. They're not profitable yet, right? So they already spent millions of dollars to run a model that talks to you like a human, but then and also support you live for free. And I would say at that stage, only like people like billionaires can really join the games. So here are the founders of OpenAI. I believe most of them are already billionaires. So they have loaded of capitals and resources. So they're the ones who can really play the game. Um, of course, the current stage of the AI is really groundbreaking. With the release of ChatGPT, we started to see the uh, usability of AI for average consumers. Because before, like facial recognition, handwriting recognition, stock trading, there sounds very remote. They're not like something a regular person can just go and use for free and take advantage of these come tools. So here's just a very simple example of ChatGPT. You can talk to it, you can ask follow-up questions, and it can give you like pretty decent answers for most things you're asking for. And there are many players in the games, like Google, of course, Microsoft. There are like smaller players as well. They're working on various products. It's just using similar technologies, try to improve like your productivity or try to provide different niche services. I would categorize those products to like 4 categories. The first one is most well-known ones are the generative AI. They're more like chatting tools, like working as like your virtual assistant to teach you things, to show you things, help you write content. And then second category, I would say there are image generating tools where you can do text to image generations. The third category are a bit more advanced video audio tools where you get to generating video audios with AI. Last but not least, I think that's the one we all going to be using the most are the productivity tools. And the first one, of course, I think we all have used it at this point, are the generative AI. You talk to it, you're asking for it. I asked ChatGPT to write me at least like 5 cover letters. That worked really well. And of course, that Google announced their version of ChatGPT, their own version of ChatGPT. Unfortunately, I do not have access to it in Canada. Maybe I can use it while I'm here in Florida and to see what it feels like. Yes, that was being restricted, not available in my country. So the search, of course, it's like it was the old invention, right? You can look for something and it will return your list of results. Of course, we have to skip all the ads. So, for example, I was Googling how to invest for retirement. It's something I'm personally very concerned about, like my own retirement. And there were so many ads. Like, I just want to get a straight up answer. So I asked for ChatGPT, how do I invest for retirement? And the ChatGPT gave me very clear, straightforward answers. However, the answers are more like for Americans, like people who live in the States and have different financial structures. So, yeah, so I asked for a follow up question. I was like, well, I'm in Canada. I don't have 401k. I don't know what's 401k. So the ChatGPT was nice enough to tell me the differences and the similarities, providing me different tips based on my geolocations. And of course, you can ask more questions. How do you open a certain bank account? Can you please give me more details? Can you please tell me how to retire as if I'm like 3 years old? So it will give you like more easier to digest contents versus like paragraphs of writings. And the second categories I would like to talk about is image generating tools. I think that's like the second most popular categories of AI contents out there. One of my favorite tool is called Midjourney. It's a text to image AI image generating tool. It's a long name. Here you can see example is you can give Midjourney a reference image and tell it to create new artworks based on that reference. So you can see this person upload a picture and I copy the URL and then write a bit more description, vibrant California poppies. And you can see Midjourney generated like similar colored images, but without copying the exact art style. But it does have some sort of references towards the original artwork. And if people want to get more advanced with Midjourney, they can actually providing like a variation of the closeness to the original artwork, or creating this artwork in different color scheme or different art styles. They can even directly reference the artist's name, and then the AI will generate you artwork exactly just like what that artist's drawings are like. And next one I would like to talk about is called Stable Diffusion. Stable Diffusion is a text to image tool as well, but it's more like used for variation, to create variations of artworks. So if you can see here on this side, here are 4 pictures of like a room. They're in very similar styles. So how it has been done is you can upload one complete artwork, and you can tell Stable Diffusion, I would like to have 3 or 4 variations of the same design. And this is really time savers for businesses, especially if you're like doing like interior design or graphic design. I don't know how many of you are like deal with customers require different variations of the same thing. It's time saving. You can do that within a few minutes. And the Stable Diffusion runs locally, so you don't have to worry about your privacy. You don't have to worry about your artwork is being leaked outside of your organizations. The next one I would like to talk about is called a La La Land. You can see they're just peoples. They're actually are AI models. Levi's is working with La La Land to create pictures for their clothing items that using like just AI images. Here's the thing though, like it's really efficient. You can do it in large quantity and you can do it quick. It's really a cost saving tool, but at the same time you can get the perfect model you're looking for. I don't know how many you have seen like plus size model industry that actually have plus size model. They're not plus size, but they will have a very slim face, but they have to wear certain suits to pretend they're in certain shapes. So with this kind of AI models, they can get that perfect person they're looking for to wear their garments. And another tool I thought is pretty helpful for uh, people like me. I love taking pictures, but I don't know how many of you have taken a group pictures, but then somebody closed their eyes or they didn't smile properly, like me. So this tool, you can actually modify existing pictures and make it look pretty realistic. So if, like for example, this girl, they're expecting her to have different smile or show more teeth or have different haircut, you can see. So they can provide pretty realistic generations of the tool that can basically give you the perfect smile for all your pictures. It works on animals as well. They have some examples of their tool running on like a lion and a tiger, and you can capture that perfect moment of the animal shots as well. Next category, which is not accessible to most public audiences, are the text to video category. For example, Meta, they actually joined this AI gold rush as well. So Meta, Facebook, they just announced they're joining this AI video text to video game. So here's example of them rendering a teddy bear, painting a teddy bear video with their tool. This is not public, but here's just one of their demos say they can actually achieve this. Of course, Google has to be play this game because they do own YouTube. They have billions of hours of video contents available on their server. They have the largest, probably the largest amount of data set with videos. So here's the example of Google's research on text to video. It's really promising. I see this gonna be potential be a great tool for anyone who is creative and wants to create video content. Again, I do understand why it is not public. We do understand people can use this to create certain content, and Google and Facebook are not going to be happy about. It's very hard to regulate. You have to regulate certain words, but you maybe can get away with certain words to create things you want, but still breaking the law, but without telling them you're breaking the law. There's a lot of copyright issues involved. Actually, I used to work in children's games, and you would not believe how many times the kids try to break the law, break the rule, not law, break the rules in the chat rooms. Like they can always try to sneak the other words around to chat with other kids about the words they're not supposed to say. So I will see this potentially going to be a problem for text to video products.
Screws and cheat codes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and last but not least, there a product called 11 Labs. It sounds like it's just like a robot voice, but it actually sounds pretty realistic. What's even cooler is you can upload your own voice and make AI version of your own voice. So even Joe Rogan, he did like an AI podcast, which he did not write a script or talked. It's all AI. And you can look for it. I think it's called Joe Rogan AI channel or something. He has like a free bot talks to him, work for him now. That sounds like him, talks like him. The whole episode I think was like an hour long. It's a pretty good like assistant. Like before you were thinking about yourself cannot be replaced. Yourself can be duplicated, right? You just upload your thoughts and your voices, your face, and you can pretty much get a dozen of I can get a dozen Macy's to talk for me, right? Especially with maybe this is not real Macy. Maybe this is maybe this hologram and the audience is there. They're seeing a dupe Macy that's giving the talk.
We're still sitting in Canada.
Yes. So of course, last but not least, is the productivity category. So I've seen them a million times. So Microsoft, they finally, upped their game with the OpenAI researches. They announced the Copilot, where a long waiting AI assistants to help you improve your Excel sheets. Like I'm terrible with Excel sheets. Like this is like a certification people can get just to get a job, like be expert at Excel sheets. So Microsoft has really like bring back all the tools that people actually has been wanted for a long time. And it's feel like the old Clippy on your Windows desktops. And the announcement they had last week was like they're gonna bring a new AI assistant back to your Windows 11 desktops. So waiting for updates, you will see a new version of the Clippy there. Try to pop out. Hi, do you need help with your Excel sheets? So I'm looking forward to it. I was hesitant about upgrading to Windows 11. Maybe with this update, I would love to see what they can provide. So here, just a brief description of what Copilot provides. It's just help you write your presentations and help you improve your paragraphs, help you sort your data. And of course, Google AI Workplace just announced their updating features as well. So they will provide very similar features to help you sort your emails and brainstorm and all sorts of nice features. And there are other noticeable players in the field as well. So Notion AI is another text tools can help you improve your writings. They just provide a bit more niche products that you can tell it to make the paragraphs a bit longer or make it a bit shorter or change a certain tone. So there are more like try to make their products more focused on one particular field and provides you more targeted services. And then other services like Tom AI can help you create beautiful slides. I didn't use it for this presentation, unfortunately. I will give it a try for sure. The slides looks beautiful. Um, I don't know how many of you have done that for your presentations. It's really hard to find relevant images and resources for the slides. So of course, with a tool like this, I think that will be very helpful. And next tool, it's not new, but the product is more relevant, more updated. It's called Cactus AI, which is a tool can help you study. So I do see a lot of kids using different softwares to learn for their subjects, prepare for their courses. So they even offer coding camps as well. So it's instead of traditional, you like take the quiz, next chapter kind of learning method, they use generative AI to have a conversation with you to help you learn. There are many, many more players in the game. If I want to keep talking about it and show you more products, then the talk will never end for the day. And let's talk a bit about the future. I think everyone was really interested in the regulation part. What's the drawback of this technology? And then it is like a gold rush. I feel we really try to rush the product right now because of the competition. Everyone feel their business will potentially being threatened or already being threatened. And of course, there are winners in the field, like the big techs are big winners because they own all the data sets, they have all the cash sitting aside, and uh, they have the biggest user base. And last but not least, they own the intellectual property. So if they somehow really want to go against you, they can just sue you for, you stole their design, you stole their user flow. And so the big techs, for sure, they're the biggest winner in this AI gold rush. And now, of course, for general users, I do see this is a good win for people like us who need help every day on our work. Like I find it's easier to learn things with ChatGPT now, especially with certain like coding questions or coding challenges. I feel ChatGPT can give me really good answers, and actually have tried use ChatGPT to help me debug my code. He actually helped me caught my bug pretty quickly within like seconds, and of course it helps me write better. I see myself go through my actually let the ChatGPT check my writings before I send my emails. A lot of students are using it for sure because their writings like have to write so much every day, and for sure like a free tool like ChatGPT is super helpful. I mean, we're at the recruiting business, so there's a saying like everyone's resume and the cover letter improved overnight because of ChatGPT. So I definitely a guilt of that because English is not my first language. So ChatGPT can smooth out my cover letter and make sure it sounds like a grown-up person instead of like a kid who just trying to learn English. Yes. So of course, another big winner in the field is NVIDIA. I don't know how many of you have ever tried to mine cryptos. Like I have not, but if you have, like good for you. You know, you caught the rush, and it was a time it was impossible to buy graphic card. Like all the graphic cards were sold out because everyone buying them for crypto mining cryptos. And now all the tech companies are flexing their latest 800 graphic card. So if anyone would declare they want to join the AI gold rush without showing any actual product, they will announce that how many NVIDIA A100 graphic card they have ordered. It's pretty much like, NVIDIA is like, they win for no, like they win just by being there. And they do have a huge advantages towards their competitors in terms of chips and graphic cards. So unless you're making your own chips, like this is the only solution out there for you, unfortunately. So maybe buy more, or it's not a financial advice. You don't have to buy their stocks. But yes, Nvidia is a big winner in this gold rush.
They just actually had something on Instagram about how they use their software to have a conversation in AI in a video game. Talk about the future.
Yes. Yeah, so this yeah. Yes, so this gentleman just talked about how Nvidia have their own demonstration of their AI technologies. They had a big press release, and they're stock price skyrocketed like 40% and maybe 200%. Was that 200% or something like that? But they say they're
I didn't get that email.
no. Next time, next rush. Not financial advice. Don't buy things. Ask your financial advisors for investment tips. So, but Nvidia is smart enough. They say they're not gonna play the game. They're just gonna be there, be the supporter. So as long as you buy their graphic cards, I think they're not gonna join the game. So of course, not everyone is happy about this change or this new product that's being released out there. Chaggy, if you have children or if you have been to college recently, I have. It's like a tool where you can check the answer for your textbooks. So I have used it. You know exact answer for your textbooks, and it's a subscription. You can pay $20 for it. I mean, this is not a perfect tool. It only gives you the answer, but it doesn't really tell you how to get to the answer. So about 4 weeks or 4 months ago, they did a public announcement. They did notice there's a huge drop in their user bases because the free ChatGPT, everyone start turning to ChatGPT for the right answers, and ChatGPT end up being a better teacher than just someone who give you the answer, of course. So of course they're combating this. They're working with OpenAI, trying to have a similar product. So we will see how it goes. Are people willing to pay for $20 a month for their paid services? Can they provide more than the free products out there? The next industry that's being hurt a lot, I would say, is the design industry. At first, we thought that probably the last one to go, but however, with the innovation with Midjourneys, we start seeing the small gigs the designers usually like they will get are like fleeting away from the fingertips. So you can see this can it's actually designed by Midjourney. So a lot of small artists they will lose those little gigs, and it's cost saving, right? And it's, the turnover time is so quick. You can easily pay a subscription for Midjourney for $10, I think, a month to get like a free artist, give you high res images. It's really hard for people in the graphic industry because they need a ladder to climb. But if the junior can never get gigs, are they going to be less motivated to stay in the field or not, right? If it's not, if it can only become a hobby, are they going to continue draw more or create more artworks? Like, do we want the future where only robots draws and humans not being creative anymore? I'm hopeful because I did sign up for some oil painting classes over the weekend. But it will be hard for people who want to make a living off being creative. So models, that's actually has started long time ago. A lot of products like they're not using real models anymore. I'm not talking about like Levi's or H&M or Zara. Like they have the budget, they can still using real models. I'm more like talking about those no brand, no name Amazon sellers or Alibaba sellers. They do not have the budget, and most small sellers are not based in North America. They have less access to Western looking models. So the easiest solution for them just to steal somebody else's picture and Photoshop it and as if the model was wearing their garments. But with AI, they can simply just having unlimited use of any model they want on a computer and running it for cheap. So here is an example of someone using stable diffusion to create AI models. So first they take a picture of the garment they want and they mask it and using a little dolly, yeah, to pose, to tell the robot which pose I want, because this is a big gap between human and with robots. Robots usually they will not give you the pose you wanted, right? You have to really tell it what kind of pose you want. Using text to describe the pose is really hard. It's very really hard. Believe me. Try if you try tell Midjourney to give certain pose. It's really hard. Like robots does not understand poses, and I don't even know how to describe it to a robot. What's a certain pose? Like my left arm lean on the chair, right arm raise to 45 degrees in the air. Like that's just too much. So there are different tools to help you to translate poses to pictures. And then next, you can have a model as you desire. Just swap it on. The model is kind of doing the right pose, I assume. It's not a perfect model, but it's good enough for small sellers with limited budget, and they just want to have large quantity of model pictures out instead of just have a piece of clothing there. And I'm pretty sure the technology is just gonna get better. It's gonna get more realistic. There are a lot of AI clothing, virtual clothing pieces out there right now. Like you can buy a clothes, somebody else Photoshop it on you, and then you pay like $3 for it. That's like a booming industry, and that technology pretty much is the same as an AI model. And yes, of models are getting hurt, like those small models who used to get 100 pictures a day for like fast fashion, just get those pictures done. They may lose their jobs now. So are we gonna have a ladder there for that industry? Is there still gonna be there, like, and not, yeah, right? So if you don't start from somewhere, you can't get to the top. Like, and especially with the popularity of Instagram models and the popularity of normalizing models, I do see like the traditional modeling industry for sure is being challenged because it's still a little bit unrealistic neither, right? Like not everyone looks like supermodels. So that's another industry is getting really hurt.
In this, just a quick
Yeah.
question, in that scenario where you have the garment by itself,
Yeah.
where would that come from in the
So
scenario
so
you just
so
painted?
so if we still want to show our real products, we still need to take a picture of our real product.
But that looks like it's filled out. So are you saying that somebody would put that on? Not a
No,
model?
no. This is usually its own mannequin.
On a mannequin. Okay,
Yeah.
that
So
makes
if you
sense.
want to
It's
have
not
a
like-
little bit more like a 3D effects, have like a fullness of certain part and cinch the waist a bit. So it's basically the tool is merging two pictures together. So if you want your garment look certain way, you still need to make sure the picture is still taken the way you desire.
Right. But
Yeah.
conceptually, I could take that picture,
Yeah.
the picture with the mannequin in it,
Yes.
and feed it to
Yes,
Stable Diffusion,
yes,
and then it would
yes.
create what's
Yeah.
on the right.
Yeah. So with a clear background, it's easier because if the background is not clear, the AI tend to think
Figure out
about
where
that's part of the garment as well. So it's easier to have a clear background. Yeah, that's some challenges as well because not everyone taking the best pictures, like like with the best angle, best lighting. That's more AI has to learn as well, how to improve the layouts or how to improve the lighting, the ambience. That's more.
Well, it's just a matter of time. So the
Yeah.
garment's laying flat on the piece of
Yeah.
thing, and then it can anticipate what it's going to look like on a.
Yes. 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 It can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the model.
Yeah. Another industry that's gonna get hurt pretty badly is actually some tech companies who are focused on niche products. For example, Grammarly, it's a tool actually a lot of people are paying for. My relative who is born and raised Canadians, they speak perfect English. They still use Grammarly to check their emails because their job rely on them write the perfect emails. I do see that goes away because Microsoft and Google are providing you free services, or you already pay for it, right? A lot of business already pay for Microsoft Teams with all the add-on services. So if you have that free already, would you pay extra $8 or $10 per month for another add-on to existing services? And even though Grammarly try to declare they are AI powered as well, I mean AI is just a niche word, like it's just computer, right? And it's going to be very, very difficult for business like that.
So a good question to ChatGPT might be, give me a list of companies I should short based on AI
Right.
displacement over
Yeah.
the next year. In fact, I'm gonna write that one
Yeah.
down.
Like I'm not sure. Is Grammarly public traded?
ChatGPT will find them for me.
Yes.
Interestingly enough.
Yes.
I
Yes.
can just ask the
You
question.
already have a robot trader, so why do you need to hire another robot trader, right? Like a lot of financial institutions declare they have a robot trader, so maybe you can build your own robot trader. instead of using theirs.
Because faster compute in the millisecond.
Yeah, I know. That's another part. That's a billionaire's game, right? They have the cash to burn and run the server. Yeah, not financial advice.
It's financial ideas.
Yes, yes. So other tools like this company called Tasks, they help people organizing the meeting notes, help you schedule meetings, give you summaries of your agenda and everything. I do see business like this will be replaced easily because Microsoft Teams, they declare that they can help you write your meeting summaries. Like we used to have that note-taking person at your meetings, but assume this person is no longer needed because Microsoft Meet and Google Hangout, Google Meet already has all your meetings recorded. They can summarize your meetings for you. And products like this, well, it soon will be no longer relevant. And Tom AI, it does create beautiful slides. But again, Microsoft, Google are working on their free version. And I'm that kind of user who's so lazy to switch platforms, and I just gonna stick with what I have used before. They're gonna be challenged. Other services gonna be superior and much better versus others. With compete with fan, like how do you compete? I think that's another very challenging questions a lot of small tech businesses have to answer. Of course, AI is biased. It's based on its data sets, and a lot of businesses only study on the data sets they have access to. I think Reddit is like the least being studied data sets that's out there because they do not have agreements with Google or something to, and maybe they have with Google now because I've searched some Reddit contents off Reddit, but I don't think Twitter. A lot of them have limited search, so they do own a lot of their own data. So based on which data set this model has studied, it's biased.
OpenAI was granting Reddit.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you can see that there's something called glitch tokens, which are names of some Reddit users.
Okay.
Yeah.
So OpenAI does have Reddit data.
If they were allowed to do it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So I was trying to ask Midjourney to create an image of a man working on a computer. So it's a very vague description of the pictures. So it returned me a bunch of pictures of a man working on a computer. So I think it based on what kind of data sets it got, and it returned me those pictures, and that's what the most correct answer the AI think it should be. And then I was like, well, I want to be more like younger, like younger people in the picture. I try to be correct, but yeah, I want younger. I don't want like seems like they're a little bit too mature. Too mature. Yes, that's where I'm going. So it's like, oh, I want a handsome young man working on a computer, but from my taste, they're a little bit too young. Like and also their computers. If you notice, their computers are like, yeah, right, like the Windows 97 computers. Yeah, I don't know. So it's based on the computer, like so. So,
The data set was that guy.
yes. So it's based on the images they studied, right? The data set they're getting for young men working on a computer are young men in computers understandings are boys age around 18. I was like, that's not what kind of pictures I wanted. I want to create that kind of posters, like Hollywood posters, you see in superhero movies, like they're working hard on the computers, like very good looking men. So
one thing that's interesting that I just want to point out.
Yes.
I believe that because you include a handsome,
yes,
they're facing the camera.
right. So the
Except for
look,
one at
the appearance
with
of the
idea that
facial. I care about the
can see
face.
their face, yeah.
But what if I care about the body more?
Then you
right?
could say a well-built young
Yes.
man on a computer.
Exactly.
A fit young man.
Yes.
working on a computer.
Yes. So it does happens a lot. Yeah. Yeah, and this data set will get more biased if you looking for pictures in different cultures. For example, I'm looking for an Asian woman. You will look completely against my beauty standards, but you will create what AI think is the most beautiful Asian woman, and then I have to write more descriptions, more of like what I think is beautiful. So the paragraph just gets longer. And but anyways, I'm looking for a very good looking man using a computer for my superhero or Marvel movie poster mission.
Yeah, you had a target.
Yes, I had my imagination.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Your own
But
Midjourney. Right
yes,
here.
I want the computer to understand me. So I need to give it a reference of what I consider as a handsome man. But no one came off my head because my culture references. Like I immediately came up with someone in my culture who is handsome. But I want the computer to understand. So I Googled it, and this is a Google result of the top 10 internet thinks most handsome men out there. So I assume if the internet knows about it, the AI should know who they are. So that's what I did. I picked this guy. It's like a Chris Evan. That's what he looks like.
That's pretty funny.
Do you guys know him?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We know
I-
of him, yeah.
You guys know him? I did not know who he was. Oh, okay. No wonder. It's like Marvels.
He kind of fits right in
Yes,
where you're going.
exactly. I was imagining a Marvel superhero like working on a computer. So he's the Captain America. Okay, so now I got the culture references correct, right? Because I'm not from the culture. I need to get the culture references. So here it is. Come look like him, right?
Yeah.
He does, right?
Yeah, that's
So here's my picture, and then even his computer turned modern. So that's how AI studies. You need to give it exact references. Like you can provide more details about what kind of camera you want to use, what kind of lighting you want to use, what kind of computer you want to use. And here's another example. I have one more example here. I actually maybe I removed it, but anyways, you can give you more details about exactly what you want in the pictures, and it will gives you more kind of results that's more similar to your imaginations. So of course you can see the AI is really biased. It tries to give you the answer they think that's the most relevant to your input, but it does have a lot of culture differences, and it has a lot of different political standards. If you try to ask ChatGPT about a lot of political or social issues, it will try to dodge the questions, and it will try to feed you garbage content just to be a filler. And it try to avoid certain questions. If you try to asking how can I do crime, it will not give you the answer. And
check that one.
yeah,
Apparently.
yes. So a lot of liabilities they try to avoid. Yes, you can trick it. So that's another thing. Yeah, for sure. That's why the text to video tool still in research forever, because they don't know how to really
Let that loose.
yeah, they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. I don't know if you have like young audiences here, like super fan account, right? You can use a bot to do it, and it's quite lucrative. They're like bot girlfriend that's making a killing out there. It's a little blurry line. Like I do think those big tech do not want to get involved. They want to stay on the correct side of for their brand images. And there are gatekeepers. Not everyone loving the AI, especially if your industry is being challenged. The first one are the academic. They already have been trying to check your essays to see if it's being stolen from somewhere else or not. But now they start using tools such as writer.com to check if your writing is AI or not. But it's an ongoing battles because AI keep getting better, and then this tool has to keep getting better to catch it. I'm not sure at the end if it still makes sense, because if everyone is using it in real life, like, are you still gonna try to prevent people from using a calculator? I just that's a very hard call. Yeah. The next one is artist. Of course, there's a tool called Glaze where you can have special technology to protect your art being stolen by AI. So the AI cannot study your art by having that technology applied. Uh, I do see why artists want to use this. But again, I think it will be hard to protect because AI is always getting better. And the Glaze has to also try to compete with this kind of technology out there. Are they going to have enough revenue from artists to keep going to protect their artworks or not? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not the expert in the field. but they do have special techniques to make sure your art cannot be easily manipulated or studied or learned. Yeah. Of course, crime, that's the first thing we talked about at the beginning of this meetup. The deep fake, it's getting easier and easier to access. Before you talk about deep fake, it's probably being used by a few criminals, but now we have access to it for free out there on the internet. So recently, the news on NBC, a woman, she received a phone call, which is her daughter, just asking and yelling for help, and somebody claimed that they have her daughter, and she has to transfer them a certain amount of money, or else she would never see her daughter again. But hours later, she discovered her daughter was actually at home. So uh, voice cloning has been really becoming really accessible to public general publics, like 11 Labs. You can just download it, getting somebody else's TikTok videos or Instagram shorts. Me, I have a YouTube account. They can just take my YouTube video and feed it to it, and then they have me. They got me there. So don't believe what you hear. It's not real. Maybe not real. And next, there are a lot of internet scam, like romance scams, really popular. They pretend to be your friend, give you investment tips, give you financial advice, try to get you transfer them some bitcoins. So those kind of scam are usually done online. But with deep fake, they can easily try to have a video call with you that's pretend to be somebody else, or have a voice that's not them but pretend to be someone who is influential or just complete a different person. It's way more accessible than ever. It's we even as general public, we need to be more aware of what's out there and just try to protect ourselves. I did a little quick face swap. It's an app called Swap Face. It's a tool you can run locally on your PC. So I processed some of my YouTube videos to have a different face on me. Um, if I wear a different wig, it will be more realistic. And if you wear the whole outfit, so you can easily try to pretend to be somebody else. So they render this clip within like 5 minutes. And Swap Face even support live streaming, so you can do live streaming with another person's face. Okay. I'm not saying all their customers are criminals, but tools out there can easily help you try to pretend to be somebody else.
Do they have some referrals?
Yes,
that would suggest
the all celebrities,
something valuable?
very good looking people, celebrities' faces. Yes. So I can upload my own face, or somebody else can upload my face, try to pretend to be Macy, and try to have a video call with my parents, tell them that I'm in danger. Right? It can easily be done. Yeah, and they can clone my voice too.
What did they suggest is the kind of normal sunny day scenario where you might use the technology?
They didn't.
I'm trying to think of when am I swap facing, and other than a kind of a joke, which is still the scenario of.
But I
pretending to be
do
somebody else.
see.
Well, I could be Putin and I could tell everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Midjourney,
None of it
yeah.
is-
So in Midjourney is most common. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of like deep fake, like a lot of AI images generating, supposed to be somebody being like Donald Trump was being captured by the police aggressively. Those are done by AI. It was not real because he walked out peacefully. But then the AI pictures floating around with real like Donald Trump-ish person was being aggressively hurt with police supposed to be. And that's another thing about copywriting. Like Midjourney, I think they scan the whole internet, so you can still refer well-known people's name. You can use like intellectual property protected characters like Pokemon or like a superhero. Like those are not being copyrighted. Like I mean, they are being copyrighted. You can still use them. However, with like Adobe, if AI, if you tell them to draw like a Super Mario, it will not give you Super Mario. So I think larger businesses are more gatekeeping and more regulative, like thing to prevent them from breaking the law or for preventing other people from breaking the law. However, small businesses, they just go nuts, and that's why we're talking about we want to do regulations. Like we can only regulate the big guys who has something to lose. But if you're talking about somebody, some individual developer in their basement living in another country, like you can't regulate them. So, and the tool is still out there for free.
And they can swap face and be anybody they want.
Yes. And
Now there's 400 Joe Rogan.
they get paid by cryptocurrencies, right? So you cannot even block their transactions. So yeah.
Well, it's changing in a very interesting way.
Yes. As I learn, I'm like, oh, I gotta call my parents. Don't transfer the fake Macy the money. It's like, yeah, we need to have like some secret words. I have a mutual agreement with my parents, so they're not get tricked.
Well, the funny thing is they're on the other side.
Yes, they can do that too. They can do that too.
Aren't really your parents. So.
Yeah. So what you learn, of course, we can be more productive and we can protect ourselves and educate our family members. I would say a lot of general public still not aware of what's out there. And so here is an example of just simple search for some hotels, and it's like a very good website, for like 2022 standards. It's gonna be a perfect website. But in the future, we will not be looking for a hotel website. We'll probably asking for some sort of AI tools that's existing on our desktop, on our phone. It will give us the exact answers of what you think should be good. Another industry I think will come shift their focus is a search engine optimization companies. Instead of optimizing your website and your apps for Google search, you have to improve your data for AI search. How do you get up on the list for AI? How do you get noticed? And I mean, AI design will change too, right? Maybe we do want to see some pictures in these conversations. Maybe I do want to see the hotel rooms. So there will be a slowly merging between the two, the traditional website versus like the new AI. And a lot of AI do not even have a website. They only have a Slack channel or a Discord channel. They even abandoned the whole website thing altogether. So that's going to be an interesting change for technology companies. Maybe it's cool to be a Discord developer nowadays. You just don't need a website. And just talk out loud. If you're a web developer, maybe consider. Uh, yes, do you need a website, right? So if you want to get involved, so this is an open source generative AI project that's really popular right now called Auto GPT. It's free, so you can run your own AI bots on your own local machine. It's free, open source. You can see all the code, and they just got so popular, like April.
It's not actually really expensive. If you run it against GPT-4, you're gonna pay $14
Oh.
for one run.
Oh, I mean, guys, this is a rich people's game, right? If you have the, yeah.
No.
Auto
For-
GPT.
If you, I don't want to.
Yeah, go. I want to
Auto
hear.
GPT that you tell it a goal and it will work with the goal, generates text, turns steps and goes down into the steps. I want to build a city.
Yeah.
Find property. You gotta have a survey. You gotta do this. And then how do I do survey? You hire a survey. It goes down.
Yeah.
Until it stops. And if you run it against GPT, it says you support online services. It's not ChatGPT. ChatGPT is just a website, but there's an online service. You pay for the number of tokens that you use. And this generates thousands and thousands of tokens. So one run is easily $40, and that's done in a matter of 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's very expensive.
It's still a lot cheaper than having a reverse, but it also generates also follow-ups.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of businesses will try to take advantage of this, saying they have their generative AI as well because it's an easy starting ground. It's like Android, right? Everyone have their Android operating system, like LG Android, and like I was an Android developer. It was a painful to develop for Android because everyone has their own Android operating system. So it will be maybe it's gonna be the same. Like every company will try to run their own AI system.
That's already happening.
Yeah, and then the April, it was like the open AI ChatGPT boom, and everyone want to get on this trend, and they got like so many people start and contribute to this project. And I'll just show a quick clip. So that's on the website.
Welcome to this brief demonstration of Auto GPT. Today we'll be showcasing the AI's learning ability by asking it to research information about itself. Let's begin. The program's first step is to use Google to find relevant websites to what it's researching.
Yeah, ChatGPT has no access to the internet, and this one does.
Now that the AI has found the GitHub repository for AutoGPT, it's opened it for analysis.
ChatGPT now is not getting better.
Yeah.
After scanning the website's contents, it has summarized them and will now place them in the autogpt.txt file we have opened. As we can see, AutoGPT can teach itself about different topics using the internet, allowing it to have a better understanding of the current world than ChatGPT.
So here's just a brief demo of what you can do. So it's pretty similar to ChatGPT, but you can do it yourself. You can improve it because OpenAI initially want all their contents to be open source, but unfortunately ChatGPT is not. But AutoGPT is, and actually people are saying like the innovation on AutoGPT is actually faster than closed source ChatGPT. So I do see there are competitions out there for different frameworks.
AutoGPT doesn't have its own language model. It uses either local installed
Yeah.
Llama or it uses GPT-4.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you know the answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the case.
I see. Yeah.
I mean, the code is open source. You can modify it,
Mhm.
see what's happening, but the large language model behind it is not part of AutoGPT.
I see. So all they do just search for the internet.
So, yeah, they search the internet, they ask the large
Mhm.
language model, for example,
Yeah.
GPT-4. and
So then we back to the training model part. That's the expensive part.
that's it.
Yeah.
GPT itself is just
Right.
a cool project.
Yeah. So still need to buy those NVIDIA graphic cards and yeah. So we cannot get away with the financial purchasing and server running.
You can run a smaller model on a laptop.
Right. Good to know. Yes. So this is a starting point. There are more. Of course, I mean, maybe we say we don't want to go this far, it's between tens. There are courses out there just to give you some general information about like generative AI. I believe other businesses try to provide their version of the training. I am gonna take this just to see what's out there, and I think that will be a good starting point for anybody who wants to get into the field. It's right now. It's a time. It's like the perfect time to get into this field. So that's my talk, and thank you very much. And you can find me at Twitter at Macy Kuang, and I do have a YouTube channel, as I mentioned. It's called Code to Create. If you want to hear more from me without seeing me in person, when I'm flying back to Canada, you can still find me online. And yeah, thank you. Mhm. So I just want to see. So I will stop sharing. Okay. So I'm not.
Hey, Macy, that was great. Thanks very much for this awesome presentation, and lots of tools, lots of good ideas. This perfect, excellent. I see lots of people clapping, so thanks everyone.
Great. Yeah. Thank you very much, Macy. I think that took a lot of research, and I'm sure you must have refined that presentation a number of times, and then really got the right flow of one tool after the other tool, and it really was like a story. So thank you very much for that presentation. Okay, we have VJ raising his hand again, so you can come over and ask us again another question.
Oh yeah, thank you, Macy. Really appreciate your work and great presentation. Really enjoyed it. My question is: so now there's so many tools coming up, and as to what if you really wanted to have some credentials on it, and I appreciate that you mentioned about the course from Google, and I'm sure Microsoft is going to have their own courses, and other companies are also going to have their own courses. And since time is of course of a limited supply these days, so what's your recommendation as to how do you prioritize these rather than spending $8 or $10 on 100 tools and versus focusing on just a few?
It's really hard, to be honest. It's really overwhelming, I would say. Even for me personally, I would say I will actually look into the open source project just to see what people are doing
Mhm.
out there. It's right now, it's just there's so many possibilities. I don't even know. I cannot give you the best answer. It's just so much going on there. Like it seems like everyone is using Python. Like maybe Python. Any other tips?
As a language in AI, it's a
Yeah.
must language.
Yeah, so yeah, even the audience agree. So Python is a must language. So even before the Open AI ChatGPT products, I was using Python to train different models to do image recognitions. So like if you do like Raspberry Pi, machine learning, deep learning, they're all Python. But I do believe Google using their own languages or something. But a lot of people are using Python. Yeah.
So one thing that I always like to suggest, and yes, there's far too many tools, and that's true for anything, right? So no, for any technology that you look around, there's far too many tools, far too many things happening. But uh, you vegan, no, sorry, not vegan, but yeah, vegan, right? You VJ, right? So you VJ, uh, you, I'm sure you have some knowledge that you have right now, some kind of project that you work on, right? So, for example, I have a very large experience with government projects and finance institution projects. So I would look on how, so what are those tools that could be applied to the things that you're very good at, right? Because then you build on top of what you already have, you build on top of your own experiences, and you narrow to things that make sense for you, right? Because really, lots of people think about, oh yes, I need to learn a tool, I need to learn a language. We always think about tools, but in reality, you will differentiate yourself in the market by solving a problem, right? And once you have a problem to solve, you're going to use all tools that are at your disposal to solve that problem. So I'm working with a guy that's it's my mentor, and he is his focus is marketing sales, right? And so he's putting a lot of effort, spending a lot of money building tools that solve that particular problems on that particular niche, right? AI tools to solve on that niche. So I think that if you get whatever niche you are on, whatever focus you have, and you apply AI to that, that's going to be a big differentiator for you.
Yeah, I think yeah. I mean, I couldn't say anything better than what Bruno has said. He's hit the spot on this question. Is firstly, and it has never been any different. And I've been using computers for over 25 years. And during those days, there used to be this magazine called PC Magazine. It used to be as thick as this book here, maybe thicker than that. And the magazine is still popular today. It
Mhm.
is a book full of advertisements, and if it's a thick book like that and it's full of advertisements, you can name it software, hardware, value added services, all packed in one book. And it's early 90s or mid 90s, when computers had just started. We just had computers enter into our homes, first offices. And so today the explosion is many more times more, and it's become more specific. Like we are like, if you look at it, we are focusing on certain areas like AI. The point I'm trying to make here is that the problem is always has been there and it'll always be there. So I actually shared something in the chat called crossing the chasm. I really love this analogy, where every technology, idea, concept, or you name it, has this evolution. You've got early adopters, you've got a hype, and then you'll see a drop, and then you see a plateau, and then you'll see the laggards. So you got to see where you are in which specific technology or tool that you're looking at. And so if you're at the hype stage, you're going to feel overwhelmed. And then if you ask questions like this, then almost everybody's not going to have the answer. But if you, depending on which stage that particular technology or tool is, the answer can become more stable, right? Today, what's the operating system? It's not like 50 different versions we used to have previously. Today, we know it's only the Mac or Windows or Linux, right? Not the various variants of it. So it's going to be a hard question to answer. But what Bruno said is find your niche. Try to find a problem you're trying to solve, and focus that around that problem, and then you'll only find there's only a few handful, not even a handful, sometimes only a few tools that are available in that specific niche that are useful and that you can learn and you can enjoy. And the principles of the all the other tools may be more or less the same. They'll just be different names and slightly different branding. That's what I would add to what Bruno said and what Macy said previously.
Yeah. So actually, guys, I've been telling everyone around me that they should start applying AI to their profession, right? So my physiotherapists, and we have some friends that are working on health, right? Doctors and things like this. I've been telling everyone, look, have you heard? Oh yes, I've heard something, but I don't know. So go take a look, right? Because it is important for you to understand how that's going to affect your niche. So VJ asks here, let me kind of put this here. Asks here, what does it require to develop your own ChatGPT like tools, right? Looks like the industry is developing something based on this technology. JP Morgan is developing an AI powered tool called Index GPT, as announced a few days back, for picking financial securities. And yeah, because there's no ends, right? But, so uh, Money, go ahead. Money already put his shameless plug right there. So go ahead, Money.
So, I think it's like this. It's like kids in the candy store, and I'm not trying to anyway deflate your vision or dream, but I feel like that as well when I hear about technology like this. Oh, I actually want to build it, but it's always good to start small and like just to know where your feet are before you try to, like, go into the candy store and have everything you want there, right? So that's, and it's a natural effect that everybody experiences. So I shared this link because this is like a very simple starting point if you want to start building a chatbot that might one day become like ChatGPT. I'm not saying that it is the only way, but if you look at the project, it's got all the simple bells and whistles you need to start with, and you can improve on them and take it in the direction you want to take it in. And that's when you start building your chat gpt. So you need a foundation, right? You can't just build chat gpt. So the foundation is what you will see in this project, and maybe it still doesn't have all the elements of the foundation, but it has got a starting point. And I at least can say that because we have tried and tested this in quite a few sessions in the last 16 months, and we have been able to plug quite a few angles to it. So I suggest have a look at this, play with it, try to run it, and it'll give you some ideas. And based on that, I just try to see how can you then bring in ChatGPT. Macy earlier showed an example of Auto GPT, and I actually thought, wow, I can actually plug this into my project, and I wouldn't need much because this project runs on REST endpoints. So if you build a client, embed it into a Docker container, and have Auto GPT running inside it, you can make it talk to anything else. And this framework that I just shared with you allows you to communicate with the client server protocol. And Auto GPT could be one of the chatbots. Or you could have many versions of Auto GPT running and connect through a server client architecture, which this project provides. So if you want to build something like ChatGPT, start something small like this, and then use that and build on top of it. And there are lots of mini and micro ChatGPT repositories and models floating on the web, on GitHub as well, that you can actually clone and run, and it'll run like a mini GPT, mini chat GPT, or a mini micro chat GPT on your local machine, which you can then encapsulate in a Docker container, and again plug it into this project or any other project. Start there, and then that will be the next thing from there onwards. Macy wants to say something.
Yeah, and also all the AI tools out there, they do have APIs. So instead of thinking of building your own models and train your own
Exactly.
thing, you can just use existing tool to solve your problems. And there are businesses already being sold just by using ChatGPT plugin, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just step on the giant's shoulder and just pick the fruit.
Yep, that's the right way. Perfect. Yeah, I couldn't say it any better than that. Yeah. Don't try to reinvent the wheel and try to build ChatGPT, because OpenAI is spending has a 250 million pounds or dollars loss still date, and you don't have that kind of budget to start with. So there you go.
Really ChatGPT. So the question would be, how can I create the equivalent of the tool like Dragon or Chegg or those type of tools. And I think the answers are still there, but it's not building ChatGPT. It's how to build on top of it, because that's we talk about solutions. You're trying to build, because at the end of the day, having a conversation and having talk back to you doesn't really buy you a lot. Right? What buys you a lot is when you can actually turn that into a value proposition that somebody other than yourself is willing to pay for. It's called business, and that's what we're trying. At least
Yes.
from my perspective, that's where I'm trying to understand and leverage the technology.
So as a software developer, there are two things to mention. One is called LangChain, that's an open source project, mostly in the Python world, but I think there's also a JavaScript version of it. And then Microsoft has a project called Semantic Kernel, which is also Python and .NET, that allows you to basically wire up the language models with specific vector databases and all of the other things that you
Yeah.
need to do. So
What were those two again?
LangChain and Semantic Kernel.
It was one from a couple of weeks ago, right?
Well, Semantic Kernel was
I think it was the Node group did presentation on line chain.
Oh, you mean
referring
at the group? Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
I think David
Becky.
Yeah, I
he-
think
yeah,
he
he did
presented
that.
on LangChain. And the
LangChain.
Yeah, he did that.
Okay.
But one thing I'm starting to see some more compact pre-trained large language models coming out. Has anyone tried any of those? Any experience with those, Llama or anything like that?
Yeah,
Where you can run it on a reasonable machine?
I mean, Llama was it wasn't really, Llama is open source by Facebook
Yeah.
for research purposes. So if you're in research and email address, you tell them I want access, they give you access.
I'm researching making money.
But
Yeah.
the model waits also download. So this is the so-called base or foundation model that
Right.
doesn't respond well to instructions. But there's so-called fine tuning of this model called Alpaca or Vicuna that you can also find and also download and run.
Yeah. This is a very interesting topic. I think we can carry on. Because we still have online audiences. They really want to hear what we're saying. So we mentioned the Python, what's LangChain. So that's a really good starting point. And there are many, many more. I'm pretty sure the audience, like people here, attendees here, are really eager to continue the conversation. I'm pretty sure the ones online as well. It's just such a exciting time for AI right now.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions? Is there any more
There's more
questions?
questions here. Yes. So
I just wanted to add one more thing is on Vijay's question earlier about building chat GPT like tools. I think maybe also have a look at something called chat GPT plugins, which is a great way to build on top of chat GPT, as Macy was saying. And they are the wait list has already opened. I've applied for it and I think I've been considered. So you could do the same thing. And then you don't need to build chat GPT, but you can leverage the powers of ChatGPT and build your own stuff. Just like your example of Index GPT, you could build something else or build something similar to Index GPT and see how that goes.
right. Yeah, and I think that there's going to be a lot of specialized tools that will use ChatGPT through the API, and we're going to make it very easy for people to use it, right? So in the end, you guys are talking about Clippy in the Microsoft Excel, right? It's like But anyway, but in the end, what is Clippy, right? Is actually calling ChatGPT behind the scenes, right, and helping you create spreadsheets, formulas, and other things like this. So if you can think about something like that, you don't have to create this whole thing from scratch, right? You can use that to build your own tools and build. And I'm sure there's going to be lots of interesting tools for developers, and those are coming fast already. But there's all kinds of other areas, right? There are areas that you love to do, like sports and religion and speaking and all kinds of things, right? That there are things that maybe you're very interested in, and you're going to have a huge advantage because people don't know what to do. So I was some of my students, for example, were got interested in a writing tool, for example, right? It's like, it's a very nice, easy to use UI that behind the scenes is using ChatGPT to to run the queries and all that. So, but you could just kind of go to ChatGPT and do the same thing probably. But if you're not a writer, the tool has the best prompts, right? It has a nice interface that helps you write your text. So there's all kinds of specialized things that's going to be interesting, and I think that whoever's thinking about those and looking at problems in the real life will definitely come up with some interesting things.
Yeah, I think I want to add to that is that, and this has always been the case, is you will see a lot of general or generic tools, or tool that tries to or seems to solve all kinds of problems. But the ones that really succeed are the ones that solve specific or niche problems. So it's not the ones that are horizontal, but the ones that are actually vertical. They're going cutting through only a specific set of problems or a specific domain, and those are the ones that needs your expertise, because there's probably not so much information available on a specific domain on the internet, but a lot of domains on the internet, right? So, and that's where you can excel by putting your expertise in it and your experiences in it, and make a tool that reflects your domain expertise. So yeah, this is a great time actually for us to be around and have access to such powerful things.
Yeah, I think everyone here needs a little bit break from the long session.
Sure,
And
of
it was
course, yes.
great, great having you both. And so, is there anything we want to wrap up?
So we talk a lot about finding your niche and the kind of thing. So I'm gonna put here in the chat, and actually for everyone, I'm gonna share here in the screen. So every time I'm planning these kind of things, every time I'm thinking about new technologies and what I can do, I have a process that I use. For me to think about the future and how to get there. How to make a plan. And I wrote this in a little book, right, that I give for free. So I'm putting here in the chat, and let me just kind of quickly share my screen here so everyone um, in the group can see that. And so so if you get, okay, just the QR code right there. So if you go to this URL, you can get this the best developer yearbook for free, and it's a little ebook with a it's more questions than text, right? So it's like with the right question that you should ask yourself to really plan an amazing year for you and really plan the next step for your career, and think about what tools you should learn, what technology you should go deep at. So if anyone is interested, it's there. And then and thanks everyone, right? Thanks
Mhm.
Macy for this great talk. Thanks everyone there physically, for being here. It was great, and thanks Eyal for the opportunity. Thanks a lot, Manny, for being
Thanks,
here.
Bruno. Thank you, Macy, for
Thank
being here and for the great talk. And I'm hoping you're going to be sharing your slides with us over
For
social
sure,
media,
for sure.
or however you can share it.
Yeah, yeah, we will figure that out. And thank you for having me. And we will continue the discussion here live. And I think that's it for the virtual events.
Yes, exactly. So thanks everyone.
Take care. See you.
Bye.
Bye
Thanks a
bye.
lot. Bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.
I think I just